Welcome back, everyone, to Weather for Weather Geeks, the Monday evening edition here on August the 10th. Not going to spend a lot of time on the radar this evening. See the shorter videos that I'll make throughout the evening for more updates on this evening's thunderstorm situation. When I was getting set to record here at about 7 p.m., this is what the radar looked like. But again, don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Most of you will be watching well after the information here becomes a little outdated. But nonetheless, cold front's pushing in tonight, and behind this front, we're going to see a gradual downtick. Is that a word? Downtick? Anyway, if it's not a word, I just made up a word. Anyway, the humidity is going to drop tomorrow and into Wednesday behind this front, and that is a welcome change because it's awfully sticky out there this evening with dew points in the upper 60s to around 70, and here's where the drier area is, out across the Midwest, upper 50s to around 60 is what the dew points are looking like out across the upper Midwest. That comes our way for midweek. Now, when we look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, up at the 500 millibar level, or about 18,000 feet, here's a couple of features to watch. Our big heat dome, or area of high pressure, is this circular area right out through here across the plain states, where, of course, it's hot. Here's our trough, which is getting set to kind of set up shop over the Great Lakes for the middle of the week. And so this is usually, when you have a trough of low pressure, it's usually associated with cool and kind of unsettled weather. And so, yeah, it's definitely going to be below average for midweek, especially coming up on Wednesday. And there's a nice trough off the west coast. Now, as we go forward in time here, let me show you the upper level flow here as we go into Wednesday. Why is it going to be so cool on Wednesday? It's going to be a little taste of September, I think, coming up on Wednesday. Here's a look at the flow upstairs at 18,000 feet on Wednesday afternoon. Our trough is now centered over upstate New York and heading down the mid-Atlantic coast here. Look at this ridge out west. That thing is just a monster. And so with this kind of a flow looking like this, that's a cool pattern for us. But this is going to change as we head towards the end of the week and into the weekend. As we go into this coming weekend, watch what happens here. A little low pressure zone gets kind of stuck down along the Gulf Coast. No real consequence to that here. But while the center of this ridge is still going to be out across the Four Corners region, the flow becomes almost due west into the Midwest and Ohio Valley. That will allow some of the heat that's building out here to just mosey on east. When we have that northwest flow is when we get the Canadian air. But with the west flow, it's going to start to heat up by the end of this week and heading into the upcoming weekend as well, and even into early on next week. Now, in terms of rain chances as we head into the midweek period, I've been talking about how tomorrow, let me actually bring up the NAM tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be kind of a cloudy morning, certainly. The afternoon will be a little bit brighter, and I wouldn't even be shocked if a shower or a sprinkle tried to come out of some of these clouds. Here's midday tomorrow. There's a few specks here on the simulated radar. So the umbrella, not a bad idea for our Tuesday, even though any rain will be very spotty and I suspect very light. And I'm not real enthused about any thunder chances for tomorrow. Wednesday's going to start out similar with the base of that trough over our heads. Lots of cool air up there. Clouds will have no trouble forming. Wednesday morning, by the afternoon, we start to clear. Can't totally rule out a sprinkle on Wednesday once again. Best weather of the week is the end of the week. This is Thursday's map. Nothing going on here but high pressure situated across St. Louis and the lower Ohio River Valley. We'll have a warm-up Thursday. It'll be a very, very nice day. The next front then approaches. This will be very late Friday and into Friday night. Let's see. Friday is the 14th. So let's look at Friday evening here into the overnight. There's our front. Could be a shower with this Friday night and perhaps into Saturday morning. As we look at the longer range, I just showed you kind of the next 5-6 days. Here's that same level, 500 millibars or 18,000 feet as we go into next week. Here's Sunday. Notice again our ridge is over the southwest, but nice extension of that ridge coming into the Great Lakes. So a nice warm-up for the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and into the Northeast. Then as we go, kind of deeper into the future here, of course, the forecast becomes more uncertain. But the latest GFS here would, advertise a long stretch of pretty warm weather. This is, let's see here, 12 days from now, Saturday the 22nd. Our ridge has exited the Four Corners region, is now centered over the Mississippi Valley, closer to us. This looks like a hot pattern here for roughly the third week of the month, and this is advertised to continue well into the final week of August. Now, is this going to be right? That's a big question. There's a lot of uncertainty as to how the models are handling things out across the Pacific Ocean. If they're not clued in, especially I'm showing you the GFS here. If it's not clued in, then it's not going to have the right ideas in the longer range. But if this were to be right, the second half of August, promising to be pretty darn warm. And same model here in tabular form, or numerical form, I should say. 16-day temperature trend. Here's our cool day Wednesday, then our warm up, and yeah, a lot of above average days advertised here in the longer range on the GFS ensemble. All right, that's tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. Kept it kind of brief because it's going to get busy here in the Weather Center this evening. Again, social media, Facebook and Twitter, I'll be posting some video updates as these storms get a little bit closer to us. Not expecting much severe weather, but we'll keep a close eye on it anyway. And I will see you tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock. Have a great Monday night, and I'll see you right back here for more Weather Geeks Tuesday evening.